Okay, guys, here we are arriving at Wiseman's Scenic Overlook in North Carolina. Now, this is from the dash cam. You're going to notice going up a lot of trees down to the right and left. I don't know if this is from Hurricane Helene or from maybe a more recent thunderstorm, but clearly there was a lot of debris and the wood looked freshly trimmed and tossed off to the side. So I'm thinking that one of those storms, this was left over from the cleanup, and one of the parking lots up here was closed. Now there's a lot of hikers that go up here, which I am not. But the parking, you'll see these cars backing up, it's really tight. You'll see that first car up there that's parked up on the right, because the parking lot on the left is closed. They've got barricades up there. So I guess all these hikers still want to go. And if you're not a good driver and you can't squeak by, you back down the hill, I guess. But you'll see here in a minute how tight this was to squeeze by. Obviously, one car at a time. It was a scenic trail. This is a very dirty road on dry climate. In the rain, I'm sure it's probably pretty slick with mud and everything. But let me tell you, the car was filthy. Keep your recycling on your air conditioning closed onto recycling, because you don't want any of this. Keep your windows up. The dust that the cars kick up is, oh my God, it was worse than maybe even Utah where I went. Tons of dust. So you'll see here how tight it is in this parking lot on the left being blocked off. But all these people, as you walk around, they're all just for hiking. They're not going to the Scenic Overlook. Where they're actually going, I'm not sure. Maybe there's some other thing here in the woods that everybody's going to see. Don't know. Many people with backpacks and water bottles, things like that. But so you squeak through here and try not to fall into the ditch on the side. And away you go. I think just about any car could do this. I mean, I wouldn't do this in a Corvette or some real low-lying car, because there are some potholes, we'll call them, some worn-out areas, but it's nothing that you really need like four-wheel drive or anything for. You'll see these two cars in front of me. I follow them pretty much most of the way to the top. Now, they may be all-wheel drive cars, I don't know, but most cars can make it up this. I'm not going to narrate the whole thing because it's a ways to go up there, and we're traveling at kind of a slow speed. The girls in front, I saw get out. Well, not get out, but they stopped and were looking. I think they were a little unsure of themselves at first, but then they continued on. There are some turnouts along the way for you to pull over and take a break. It's a little bumpy road. You also are going to see some tents. If you look right and left, people are camping up here. I'm not a camper, but I can't imagine camping, putting up a tent, and having a camp with this amount of dust. I mean, there are cars going up and down, and the amount of dust, I can't even emphasize how much dust there was. My windshield was covered in dust. The car, the grill, my wheels, tires were brown for 2 days from just dust. I can only imagine what it looks like under my hood. There was a couple of motorcycles go by, probably about 3 or 4, I think. Those kind of on-off trail bikes. I can't imagine how much dust they're sucking and trying to breathe. You'll see some parking lots like this here and there on the way up, some on the right, there'll be some on the left. And eventually when you get to the top, you're going to see, you'll see some tents. I was surprised, camping in that dust. No wildlife, didn't really see any wildlife going up here. Probably because of all the traffic. I don't imagine there's going to be much wildlife with all these cars going by, all these hikers in the woods. So, interesting, something to do. We were in North Carolina for a couple of the other sites I'm going to do videos on. On this trip, we had 3 kind of busts. Busts because I called them. I changed my mind when I got there. So we did a lot of driving and didn't really accomplish all that much. But you'll see that in the other videos. Anyway, I'll let you just watch this dirt road. Enjoy the video. I'll try to maybe throw some music in here. Thanks.
some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just twist your body and mine. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak my mind. Oh. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're chilling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, 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 oh,
Here, coming up, the girls kind of stopped for a second and are talking a little bit. I'm not sure they were positive they wanted to continue because there was some large ruts in the road, and I'm just guessing that's what they were communicating about, whether they should continue to go. In the end, they decided to proceed.
Road.
Nothing too tough. Very dusty though.
Very dusty.
Here we are still climbing. Surprisingly, for 3,500 feet, it took a while to get up there. I didn't time it, but it took a while. Here we pull over. We see motorcycles coming up in the rearview mirror. We'll pull over and let them go. They can make better time that we can, and they kick up a little less dust than the cars. So whenever you see a motorcycle in the rear view, pull over, give them the room, let them go, and then you can continue on your way. Kind of the same rules apply when we were out in Colorado, same thing. As a rule of thumb, when it's two-way traffic, going up the hill has the right of way. People coming down are supposed to yield to the people coming up the hill. So here we go, still continuing. Again, another parking spot here that people just park and then they go hiking. That particular last vehicle on the left, that had a decal on it saying something about emergency management or something along those lines. And we did see some people coming down that had reflector vests on, things like that, like they were there doing work, maybe cleaning up the area or something like that. Okay, finally we have reached the top of the Wiseman's Scenic Overlook parking area. So we park here for a little while, walk around, check out what we can. All right, guys, here we are at Wiseman's View. Pisgah National Forest. I'm going to take a shot at that one. Anybody local pronounces it better, you let me know in the comments. It's a nice, it's an off-road, I say off-road, it's a dusty, dirty mountain trail that I think almost any car can come up. Very, very dusty, as you can see. There's lunatic driving this Ford here, bombing around, kicking up all sorts of dirt. It's all right. Unfortunately, it's all grown in. I mean, unless that path, which we went down some of the ways, and then it starts dropping. So I can't imagine how much of an overlook you have from going down. I would think the overlook would be over there, but it's all grown in. I don't know. You know me, I like to go off to a road and hit some trails and dirt roads and stuff, but I don't know if this was actually worth it.
Not if there's hiking.
And if you're coming up here, beware. That is the most disgusting bathroom I think I've ever been in my life. Nobody's gotten to that thing for maintenance in a long time. So, anyway, here we are. This is Wiseman's View. If anybody knows if the trail going down the walking trail is any better, let me know in the comments. But to me, this is the high point. All right, we're gonna hit it. Get on the road, because we gotta, the next stop is gas. Once again, we're having gas problems here.
What?
We went to one place, this pig likes premium. They had regular, and I didn't want to put a half a tank of regular in it. Then I stop at the next one, they're completely out.
No gas.
Nothing. So now we gotta climb out of here, get back to the main roads, and see how far the gas station is.
A bug in my ear.
Oh my God, she's got a bug in her ear. Heaven forbid there's a bug. Can't have a bug. So, here we are. All right, we'll catch you in the next one. Okay guys, here's what I did miss. My fault. Tired driving, I didn't feel like hiking down the trail. This is the overlook that they have hanging out. Now keep in mind, when you've come and you've done Colorado at 13,000 feet, I looked this up, this is only 3,500 feet. I mean, Mount Washington is even higher than that. So it wasn't a big deal to me. I had some fun going on the dirt road, like a dirt trail. Your car will get absolutely filthy. Absolutely filthy. Took mine to the car wash today, which is Wednesday, the 23rd, April 23rd. Dust and dirt everywhere. But it's okay. Had a good time. Okay guys, now for the return trip. It's one way in, one way out. And you go down, obviously downhill, but there are, believe it or not, some uphills. And again, there's bumps and some potholes and some dugout areas where vehicles might have been spinning and dug out the road. But all in all, it's not too bad. I think any car could do this. Like I said, no Corvettes, no Ferraris, nothing that low to the ground. And I think you'll be fine. Here I pulled over and stopped to let this motorcycle go by. And then away we go to finish this thing off once and for all. Once again, guys, like in other videos, when I use the dash cam, in the lower left corner where you see Garmin, you'll see the coordinates. You can type those into Google Maps and it will take you right to it. I forget, sometimes there's a comma you need in between the two sets of numbers. Sometimes just a space and it'll take you right to it on Google Maps where the video was taking place. All right, guys, this concludes Wiseman's Scenic Overlook. If you're in the area, stop by, check it out. I wouldn't drive too far out of your way to come here, though. It's not that big a deal. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.